Now, Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is in Minneapolis. Here is more of what happened. And as Garrett just reported, this is the kind of scene that you're seeing on the ground in many areas in Minneapolis. So we're going to let this play out a little bit so you can get a sense of the tension in this store. Watch.
Out of here. You're a coward. Hold on, babe. I'm on the phone. Get the out of here, you stupid. You're a coward piece of you. And if you didn't have a gun or a badge, I would beat the out of you.
Greg Bovino, Commander, joins me now. Thank you very much for being here, sir. You know, I mean, a lot of things go through my mind when I see that video. I'm just curious what your reaction was. You know, how does that feel for you when you walk through there and people are yelling that kind of language at you and in your face and in the face of your agents? And what was their response when you all got back into your vehicle? Did you talk about what happened in there?
Martha, thanks for having me. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
That reaction that you saw there at that store is something that has become very common here in Minneapolis and Minnesota. And we do talk about that. But one of the things that we talked about that I want you and the viewers to know is this is an operation of contrasts. As you know, we just got back from Louisiana, from that fantastic operation in Louisiana. This didn't happen in Louisiana. Violence did not happen in Louisiana. The fantastic leadership of Governor Landry, Colonel Hodges from the Highway Patrol. But we're here in Minneapolis. Let me give you a statistic here, Martha. Well over 20 assaults on federal officers in 3 days here in Minnesota. In Louisiana, I counted one for that entire 30-day operation. So a vast contrast. I can only think that Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, you just had Mayor Frey's speech on there, they're responsible for what you saw in that store yesterday and for that violence that our federal officers confront every single day here in Minneapolis.
We have a live shot here that we can take this full so people can see what's going on in the streets. It's a similar sort of tense scene between protesters and agents. Has this accelerated? I would imagine it has quite a bit since the agent killed Ms. Good in her car in that tense situation.
Sure, Martha, the situation has accelerated. And again, I go back to the Mayor Frey, Governor Walz, and what they're saying about that. They're not trying to tamp down the violence or anything else. They're actually fomenting violence and ramping the violence up. They're supporting these people.
We have a soundbite from Mayor Frey, excuse me, but let's play this so people get a sense of what you're talking about. Let's watch.
You had a person that was definitively trying to just get out of there. They were trying to leave the scene. That is not a person that's trying to run an ICE agent over. You have a person that is trying to protect our city, to look out for our neighbors.
You know what strikes me, and I want to just go straight into the Ilhan Omar soundbite here. These people are apparently in Ms. Good's mind. They know what she's thinking, and they know what's happening, even though this investigation is very much underway. Let's play Ilhan Omar here.
She feels scared. She tries to turn the wheel away. And then you see the other officer, who can clearly see the car is moving, move towards the front of the car, which, if they are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained, he should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car.
Your reaction to that?
Martha, is Ilhan and Governor Frey, they apparently are now experts on tense, dangerous scenes out in the street now. I tell you, it's reprehensible to hear that. We had an ICE agent who did not even know he was going to be in that situation that was confronted with a 4,000-pound missile barreling straight at him. It's funny they don't seem to mention that, Martha, and it's
but you
sad
hear her
that
say, let me ask you about this,
route.
Commander Bovino. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. So she says, Omar says, and I guess she's a crime scene analyst now. She's watching this video break down. But she says, why did he get in front of the vehicle? Doesn't he know? He's supposed to have done this for 10 years. Doesn't he know that's not a good idea?
And Martha, what she doesn't seem to realize, or maybe she realizes it and just doesn't want to talk about it, but these scenes now with hundreds of agitators and rioters put those officers and agents in a very difficult situation. It's not just a vehicle that they're up against or one subject, but it's dozens, if not hundreds. So there's a different scene there that they're having to react to, and that scene is 360 degrees around those agents. Very difficult. I've been out there with those agents on the ground for several days now. It can be chaotic, and I'm not going to second guess an ICE agent that was trying to protect his life and or the lives of others.
But the investigation is ongoing, is that correct?
It is. Our partners there at the Federal Bureau of Investigation are doing a fantastic job, as they always do, to get those facts and put that investigation together.
All right, let's put this up real quick. These are 5 images of some of the individuals that were arrested as part of this Minneapolis operation. Wednesday, these individuals were apprehended, according to the reporting here. So you see the names across the bottom, and I'll just tell you that from left to right, you have a child sex assault conviction, registered sex offender, attempted sex assault conviction, attempted criminal sex conduct conviction, and possession of opium conviction. So these are all individuals with perhaps the exception of the second person here there who does not say there's been a conviction, there's a charge in that case. These individuals were all rounded up in Minneapolis as part of the operation that we've been watching?
Yes, Martha. And what's even more noteworthy is, in addition to those 5, this happens every day. Those type of individuals are walking the streets every day in broad daylight. Those ICE agents, Border Patrol agents are up against that every single day. And as they arrest those individuals, we have members of the community, some of those weaker-minded constituents that fall victim to Walt's and Fry's rhetoric, actually coming against us as we arrest those individuals. That's amazing to me. Do they want registered child rapists?
Yeah, I guess they want
this
attempted sex assault conviction person living next door to them or in their neighborhood. We're going to talk about this later in the show with our panel, with Yemisi and Noah coming up. But here's just an image. Last night it was sort of an underlying thread through the Golden Globes last night. And a lot of the celebrities were wearing these buttons that say "Be Good" in honor of Renee Good. I was just curious what your reaction is to that, Commander, before we do that segment.
Sure. You know, where are the pins for Jacqueline Nungaray, Molly Tibbetts, Kate Steinle, Officer Singh, Miss Marin, and all those other individuals that were killed, maimed, and raped by illegal aliens? And what about the angel moms? How about an angel mom pin? They never seem to talk about that. I've got a problem with that.
Yeah. Well put. Good argument. Commander Bovino, thank you very much. Good to have you here today. Thank you, sir.
It's good to see you, ma'am. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.